I'll work it from that angle right there. Hey, everybody. Oh, now that's excellent. All right, so I'm going to check real quick to make sure the feed's right. It still will cover a little bit of Nash if he comes in. Hey, John. Hey, Bill. Met all Baker family had on a bullet bourbon hat. Baker signed it. Great family, Baker, Freddie, and Freddie Jr. Yeah. Hey, Terry. Good to see you. Actually, I wanted to say that I got to check this. That Baker, Freddie, and Fred signed my unopened bottle of Baker's 13. I actually have the bottle right now of Baker's 13 here that I opened. I bought two, but the one is signed by Fred, Freddie, and Baker, so that's really kind of special to me. Let's check YouTube and get this going. All right, make sure the microphones are working. Here we go. Let's see what it says about the live is working. I just got to make sure.
Let's check YouTube and get this going.
All right, so live is working. Yeah, if Nash comes on, but we're going to get this going momentarily. Let's see what happened there. Okay. Yeah.
Comes on.
Okay.
But we're going to get this going.
So I got to
momentarily.
I'm looking. Well, okay. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to leave a comment like I always do for the chat. Welcome, everybody. All right, there's that. I might need this as we go if I start reading and doing stuff, so I'm putting that in there. There we go. That's good. Put this on. So everybody, so here we are. I don't have a bottle of Baker's. Baker's left mine are all gone, or I would join you. It's such a good bottle, and I gotta get a Glen out of here. Scotchy Bourbon Boys Glen. This one actually was a bluegrass from the barrel pick that we did earlier. That's going to be a cool pick. Kentucky Bourbon Festival is getting closer. I mean, I got all my barrel pick. Yep, there's a Scotchy Bourbon Boys one. All right, so I got a Scotchy Bourbon Boys one. Everything's going good. All right, here we go. Just so you know, just to cover real quick for everybody on Facebook and YouTube, our sponsors, lots of wild stuff has been happening at the Spirit of French Lick. They're trying to find after Alan's left, and now Justin is gone, so they're trying to find. But we have a date that we're going down to the Spirit of French Lick. It's Saturday, August 24th from 11 to 1 p.m. And right after that, we're heading to Beck's Mill, where Alan Bishop is going to be doing a mash in there. So I've met him there before. Plan on meeting him there again. And then after that, once we're over there, we will head over to his new distillery, Old Homestead, and we are spending the night. And then hopefully I am trying to work out headed over to Heaven's Door to do a podcast there. So lots of fun stuff. There's going to be a new riff podcast and everything. So we got a lot of stuff going. But our sponsors, Spirit of French Lick, Jason Giles, and Rosewood Bourbon, and then also Alan Bishop. If you have Ghosts, You Have Everything, and his One Piece of the Time Institute. Make sure you check that all out. But I'm telling you, at the Spirit of French Lick, what we're getting, that Lillian Vernon 4-year bourbon with a French oak stave stuck in it for about 3-4 months. Fantastic bourbon. And then the William Dalton we got was even a punch up better than what it is a whole another level than even our barrel pick from before, which was fantastic. So check all that out. Our sponsors, they treat their, they're there. They're why we can do this. We are looking for one more. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, let me know. We'll fit you in. It might get a little wild tonight because know that my grandkids are upstairs and they all are here. And normally 8:30, it's a school, whatever, but they're all getting older now. We're in our 5th season. When I first started this, we were talking about putting kids to bed in either cribs or even littler stuff, a little bed. Now they're full grown, having a blast up there. So you might hear some wildness going on, or one might drop down before my daughter gets here to pick them up. But that's okay. It's Thursday night. I'm here with you guys, and we're going to get this ball rolling. So know that your Facebook and YouTube, you guys can ask any questions when when we're doing this. No problem. Just ask away. There's absolutely. I will be monitoring it. I want to talk to people. I'm here by myself tonight. Looking forward to drinking some good bourbon with everybody, tasting and talking about the brand Baker Beam's brand. And so we'll go forward. So what you're going to hear is a 30-second quiet that is for our sponsors, and then you'll hear our theme song, and we'll get at this. All right, here we go.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We get a little wild, it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Who's fan, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising some hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Tiny is in the house tonight. Super Nash might join us a little bit later, but at the moment, it is just me, myself, and I. And so tonight, we are going to be talking Baker's Bourbon. One real cool thing I got to say is that on YouTube, we have one of our followers from and his is just X, but he is from South Africa. And then also we have someone, it looks like, from Russia listening. Not able to translate that comment, but thank you so much for listening to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys and talking about bourbon, whiskeys, and everything like that. Just so you know, if you hear anything in the background, know that it's a wild fest upstairs in my house. There are a bunch of kids up there that their mother's going to be coming to pick them up. So it's going to be commotional, but we are going to plow through this tonight and we'll just get right at it. So www.scotchybourbonboys.com for everything Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then also Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. But right now we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching and you have questions or comments, please feel free. I'm monitoring both as we go about our business. And then also, hey, Rocky, what's up, man? We're just talking bakers. So, want to do that. If I get, and also I might be a little distracted from time to time, but also know that that we are on all the podcast formats, everyone, but mainly Apple, iHeart, also Pandora, Spotify. It's crazy. If you listen on it, Deezer, Comfort, and it's just unbelievable how much we're on the internet. So, like I said, if you hear voices in the background, just ignore them. It's all there. I've got 5 of my grandkids upstairs running around like maniacs, and there's nothing my wife can do about it. So they're from 5 to 9. So it's they're going to be good to some extent, but another extent they won't be able to hold themselves into anything. So, but getting to that, welcome. Like I said, any questions or comments? I see that Walker's joined us, and Matt Lysen and Bill Johnson. Great to have you all listening. Haven't seen Jamie tonight, but everybody can't make everything. The main person that's always here is me. Pretty much recovered. Hand is doing really well. The wrist and everything, a little bit of pain here or there. Teeth, today is the first day I have been free of pain. Like it's been 2 weeks. I had it done 2 weeks ago on Thursday, and it's the first time that I'm pretty much feeling I didn't have to take any Advil today. The Advil will actually work for like 15 hours because it takes down the swelling. It's not about the pain, it's about the swelling. All right, so whose game? So I will give you a personal story on what how Bakers, what it means to me. Initially, Booker's was my initial hunt. But it's funny because Booker's, once I was able to get my first bottle, I believe it was Kitchen Table, Baker's was there. And there was, I know for a fact that early on, in the 90s, I drank some Knob Creek because I was in advertising, and we worked on a campaign for Jim Beam Incorporated in the 90s. And one of the things we did, a couple ads for Knob Creek. So we worked on it, and I ended up getting a bottle of it, and I drank it. 120 proof was pretty strong for me in the 90s. Didn't realize quite what it was. And then over the years, and when I got into this, once I started getting into bourbon a little bit, it was E.H. Taylor and Basil Hayden. Everybody knows that Basil Hayden was a bridge bourbon. And honestly, it was partially a bridge bourbon for me. So, but once I started drinking bourbon, I had a bottle of Baker's, and it was this bottle of Baker's. And so if anybody new to bourbon, Baker's was not always a single barrel. It was 107 proof. And I'm going to read this real quick because I have one of the original bottles before they changed it to the single barrel a couple years ago. And I will use that is weird, flashlight. There we go. So if you look at the back of this, the original small batch bourbon collection, remember, 7 years old, 750 sour mash whiskey, batch number B-90.001. Now, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, My bourbon follows our Beam family tradition of putting our best secrets inside the bottle, not here on the label. I've distilled 6 generations of bourbon skill into this. I've distilled 6 generations of bourbon skill into this bottle. That's a lot of secrets. Please savor its smooth flavor over ice with a splash of water or however you take your bourbon. Baker Beam. 107 proof Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This was a blend of bourbons. The one thing about Baker's is, I'm going to put this back up. Let's get that back up. All right. The one thing about Baker's 7 and how it was 107 proof consistently. And I'm going to taste a little bit here. I'm going to put 2 in. And it was 107 proof. Now, age statement? No. Age 7 years. Yes. Okay. So there was an age statement on it. So it was 7 years, 107 proof. Took a little bit in there. Now, Baker 7 right now, this particular bottle has on the neck, this is now a single barrel bourbon. And a single barrel means 1 barrel poured into each batch. And then that's what it is. There's nothing mixed about it. Now, it is proof down because this is 107 proof. It's just the way it is. So when they put it in, they put the single barrel in and proof it to 107. However many bottles they get is what they get from each batch. So you're always getting a single barrel like you do. Now this one was distilled in 2012 and it is 8 years, 8 months. So so all of these are going to be at least 7 years. But this particular one I picked up is 8 years. So that's kind of cool, right? So it's on its own merit. This Baker's is on its own merit. So now let's see what it says on this one. What did Baker say once they changed it? Because I got to meet Baker and let's see what he said. Let's go back to here again. Back up, slide that down, turn on the thing, and let's see if I go. All right, it says, I spent a good deal of my life up at the Claremont, Kentucky distillery for a time. I even lived in a house right there on the grounds. If you go there, Baker's house is right there. It's their offices right now. This land has been home to Jim Beam spirits for nearly 100 years. Now we make our special small batch bourbons here too. Carrying on the legacy of fine handmade bourbon that's been a part of this family for 7 generations. I'm proud to have my name on a piece of that legacy, a single barrel bourbon good enough to drink neat. And it's signed Baker Beam. So that's really kind of cool. I love that aspect of what it is. So that's the 2 of them, and that's what's the difference. So my wife and me initially, I was drinking a lot of Taylor at the time, but we bought this bottle, and she absolutely loved it. Oh my God, did I really mix the 2? Oh yeah, everybody. So I'll put a little bit more of the 7. Oh my God. Wow. I mixed them. I gotta get okay, so I blended them. So that's kind of cool. It's something that you could do. I wasn't on purpose doing that, but I'm gonna pull my Stave and Thief Society Glencairn out, which I can have. I'll do that. And I'm going to put a little bit of this single barrel in now because, wow, how often do you do that? That was an epic fail. So let's see what they taste like, and let's see if one's better than the other, if it blends. All right, so this is I just can't believe I have that much bourbon on the ground right there. Ay. Oh, that's an epic feeling in itself. Everybody kind of backed off on the. All right, I got my bar towel, and that's about okay. So this is the one. This is the regular old. Single barrel. Wow. Woo! Palate shock. They're drinking big. Both of them have huge mouth. And folks, I want to say that I got COVID, and it was obviously long COVID, in 2021. It was October of 2021. And it took out my taste and smell. The first thing I was able to taste and smell again was whiskey, because I forced myself to. But it was a good month before I felt that I had my senses back. But with some things, I never got any of the senses back. Well, after getting my wisdom teeth pulled this past 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden this week, all the smells that weren't smelling the way they used to smell started smelling the way they used to smell. And all the tastes. Now, the one thing I haven't tried is soda, because soda was by far the worst. I don't drink soda anymore because of the taste of it after COVID. It just didn't come back the same. It tasted too sweet, burnt. It just didn't have a good taste. It almost tasted like it was diet or something. So I left soda alone. Because just tonight, my taste buds on what this is, it's almost like I'm just starting to drink. It was just so powerful. There was so much there. What I love about Bakers is everything that it's a bean product. And on the front palate to just right before you swallow, it's got a Booker's Jim Beam flavor, the peanuts, the nuts, that nutty, but then it's so sweet. There's a sweetness to it that most Jim Beam products don't have, and it slides down your throat. It doesn't just it like forms a slickery, oily mouthfeel, and then just slippery, it just slips right down. So they drink way more big bodied than 107 proof. That is a delicious bourbon. I think they both there is not much difference between the two. Let's see what happened on the blend. That's a little sweeter. Oh, that's really good. I really, really like um, Bakers. There's no doubt about it. Um, it's one of my go-tos and always has been. What's that? Did we lose the microphone? All right. I hope we didn't lose the microphone. I might have to go get the other microphone. But if we did, let's just see. I'm going to see. Did we? Nope, I did not. Oh, okay. Turn that back down. The microphone's working. Oh, it flashed. If it flashes red, that means it's dying. which might have to pull over the other microphone, but we'll see. Really, really kind of good. So that's the evolution of Bakers over the last couple years. It started out as a really good blend of all the it's not a it's more of a batch, a mixture of certain amount of barrels that they would put out. And Baker's wasn't always on the shelf. It sold out and they made different batches, but it was more readily available and cheaper than Booker's. So let me go grab the other microphone for right now. There's no need because I'm losing that one. Hopefully I don't lose this one. This one's going fine. All right. I'll throw this one here and put this one back on. I'm going to put this on the long one in case. Put that over there in case this one dies. But everybody should be able to hear me. Nash did not make it tonight. And we're doing good. So, all right. So Baker's, I'm real happy with. Love the fact that the single barrel comes out. One of the cool things about the single barrel is that there's an age statement on. All right. I shouldn't be fooling around with that, but I just did. There's an age statement on the neck. So you can get 8-year-old, 7-year-old Baker's single barrels. So that's really kind of a cool thing, right? So when I'm putting these two up side by side, realistically, seriously, almost no difference. I'm not getting a recognizable difference between the two. Why would you think, Lewis, that I was in a dungeon? I am not in a dungeon. I'm in my podcast studio. And there is an awful lot of bourbon surrounding me. But, all right, so the Bakers. Hey, Walker. Walker says blends should still be special, as they say. Well, the blend, obviously, they were trying to match what the barrels tasted like, because that is really, really good bourbon. Oh, are you talking about the one where I, by accident, mixed the two together? It actually, the older Bakers and the newer 8-year are really close. Almost no disconcerting. But the blend that where I accidentally mixed the two while I was pouring this, which is beyond me. I don't usually do that, but I did. That honestly takes it to another freaking it's sweeter, even though the other two don't have that sweetness. So once again, that's kind of how blending works. You pull out flavors that aren't always, it changes when you mix two things together. All right. So we're going along. We got Baker's, we got Baker 7. And then the replacement, and you're like, okay, that's fine. That's kind of cool. What are they going to do next? And what they did next was freaking phenomenal. They came out with Baker's 13. Now, like I said, I have another bottle that I have put up. It's in the first batches of Baker's. I've got the box for it. It's in that box. But I also bought one to drink, and this is mine to drink. I was able to pick them up at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And Baker's 13 is a whole different game, in my opinion. And so let's check out. what that bottle has to say. Baker Beam. I do have some information on Baker. Baker is Parker's grandson, Parker Beam's grandson. His father is Carl. And so Parker had Earl and Carl. And then Carl had David and Baker. And Baker is Parker's grandson. Just like Jim Beam had Jeremiah, Mildred, and Mark. Let's see. Jeremiah, Mildred, and Margaret. And Jim, Mildred, and Jeremiah did not have any kids, and Margaret had Booker No. So Booker No was Jim Beam's grandson, and Fred No is his great grandson. So there you go. So Jim Beam's no, actually Booker was Jim Beam's grandson. So Parker, who was Jim Beam's brother, they both Park Beam. Yeah, Park Beam. It was not Parker, but Park Beam. And Baker was brothers. No, Baker was cousins to. So Carl had Baker and Earl had Parker. Carl had Baker and David, and Earl had Parker. Wondering where David is. I never ever looked into that. So there's where where Baker comes into it. While Baker became irreplaceable at Jim Beam, Booker was hard at work in Boston, Kentucky on a top secret project, the Small Batch Collection, one of the first premium bourbons Booker would make in this collection. Baker's was for his favorite cousin. There you go. That's really kind of cool. Baker Beam was born with bourbon in his blood and raised on the grounds of the Jim Beam Distillery in Claremont, Kentucky, where he began his career. Baker started working at night as a night watchman during high school and did every job imaginable before working his way up to becoming Jim Beam's distiller. Never one for the spotlight, Baker was more comfortable with a wrench and a flashlight, doing whatever it took to keep the bourbon flowing. While he retired after 38 years, he knew every spare inch of the Beam Distillery like the back of his hardworking hands. All right. So we come out with 13, and let's just check that out. All right, here we go. What they say about this. Let's see. Okay. I spent a good deal of my life at the Claremont, Kentucky Distillery. For a time, I even lived in a house right there on the grounds. This land has been a home to Jim Beam Spirits for nearly 100 years. The legacy of fine handmade spirits that has been a part of this family for 6 generations. That's the same as what's on there. So the 13-year-old gets the same thing for Bakers, anything extra. And it's 13 years old, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and it's 107 proof single barrel. Again, there you go. Now, this one's a single barrel, 107 proof, but there's no age statement on it. We know it's 13 years is the age statement, but we don't have like we do the barrel and the bottle like we do in the 7. So it's a little bit different, but it is 13 years old, which is really kind of cool. I'm going to put that in a separate one. And then I'm going to put that up against the other ones because the other ones are really doing, they deliver. There we go. A little bit of 13. Don't want to have too much. I do love, so Eric out of Australia, he says he loves Baker's, needs to go grab another 8-year, 10-month bottle, but cheers. Cheers to Eric. Yes. See, special Ed Bly would be proud. The accidental blend. Yeah. Walker, you've seen them all. You've seen all the podcasts. I was talking to Ed today. He's got some stuff in the works up in Michigan where he's at right now. All right. Let's get back to YouTube monitoring. Thanks, Lewis, for your comments. So Jorgensoul, if you have a question, let me know. Just let me know. That's all you got to do. I'll look for, just write it right there and we'll see what it is. I hope it's a legit whiskey question. But all right, so we're getting on to the 13. I'm going to nose that up against the 7. And there's a lot of caramel on the 7. And this is almost like there's a little bit of caramel, but I'm getting like fresh apples. It's just really weird. Let's see. I get that on the blend too. I'm getting that apple. Let's see what's happening. No, that caramel is rich in the 7-year-old and in the blend. All right, here we go. Big, bold. Which one, Dario? The 13 or the 7 or the old 7? We got them all here. Which one is your favorite? Although we did determine the old 7 batch Bakers and the single barrel are pretty damn close. It's the pond again. I'll be sure to bring a bottle and leave it with you. Which one? Which one, Walker, are you talking about? Oh, can't find the 13, but I'm sure it'll be okay. There you go. That's really cool, Walker. The 13 is there's a little bit, I would say. Wow. It's a little bit smoother at 13. The harshness, let's see. And then so there is a complexity on the 13 that's crazy. But because Baker's is such a big bodied bourbon, okay? So on all of them, if I'm going to barrel bash, I got to say that the body of all 3 would get about up. So there's no doubt about it. Now you pick up a little bit more char on the 13, a little bit more oak, but not too much. And then you pick up like a burnt caramel. Let me see. They all slide down. The finish on the 13 is unfreaking believable. Still going. Still going. I mean, all of these bourbons deliver in their own way, but their strength is their body. The flavor is so bold and so big. I don't know what to say. I'm waiting for your question, V. Gardisel. Feel free to ask that. James Harden. Big fan of both the 7 and the 13. Never had the blend. Okay, so the 7 was before the 7. So you're looking at the 2 bottles. This was Baker's when I first started drinking Bakers, and it's not a blend, it's just a multiple barrel batch. This is a single barrel that they changed it to. The two are almost indiscernible. The blend is earlier, I made a mistake. I started off, and your last name is Harden. Is there anything to relationship? Well, you used to spell it with an E-N, and Hardin's Creek is with an I-N. I was just, that's a cool name to have. They named a bourbon speech-wise after you, and your first name is James. I mean, what more can you ask for? Are you out of Kentucky is the question. But the blend is my mistake because when I was pouring, thinking I was pouring two separate glasses, I decided to blend the 7 with the 7. And that's what that is right here. Yes, it definitely has the peanut aspect of it. Where it differentiates, Eric, in my opinion, is right before it hits the back of your throat, the sweetness, whether it's a brown sugar or just the sugary sweet taste of that or caramel. The caramel comes after, but that sweetness that exists isn't something that a Booker's is always picking up or anything. It's its own kind of blend. And the sweetness seems to slide down your throat. Like the first part makes an oily mouthfeel that the when the sugary caramely sweetness hits, it then just slides down your throat into your stomach. It's got a great hug. So if we were to do this, taste the nose. Let me see the nose. That's really good. I mean, you're dealing with beautiful everybody forgets about Bakers. Bakers is damn good, but then they took it to the 13. So let's once again, I'll hit that 7. I will say that the difference is the 7, the finishes caramely and it's not as long. Where the 13 finishes caramel apple and the finish doesn't stop. And that's what you get for having 6 more years in the barrel. It must be interesting to see how you're picking 7 and 8-year-old barrels, and then you go, this one's ready, this one's ready, this one's ready. Well, let's leave that one in there for 6 more years. It's kind of like at Jim Beam, they've been around. This is, Freddie's the 8th generation distiller. The 9th generation distiller, hopefully Booker, I think he's gonna be 6. It's really kind of cool. It's caramelized brown sugar, sea sweetness. Love it. Need another bottle. James out of Indiana, but have some family over in Kentucky. Well, James, know that our French lick pick, the last pick with Alan Bishop before he left the Spirits of French Lick, is going to be, we're going to be in Indiana picking that up on August 24th, and having pickup party at the distillery. So if you live anywhere in that area, we're going to be there for a while. We're going to be at Beck's Mill for a little bit to see Alan because he's going to be there on that Saturday doing a mash-in. And then we also are going to be spending the night over at the old homestead. So it'd be great to be able to see you there. Geez. Gorsel did not ever ask his question or her question. So, anyways, it seems like everybody that was listening or watching tonight really straight across the board. I can't say any of these are bad. Once again, what should I say? That the cool part about it is when I started drinking Bakers, it was the first bourbon that blew my mind, and it became my wife's favorite. I believe this bottle right here that I picked up after the single barrels were being released, I picked one of these up. This was the fifth bourbon that we had, the fifth Baker that we had purchased. I have another single barrel, a 7-year, and this 8-year. Plus, I've got this 13-year plus another. And I mean, it's readily available for a normal bourbon drinker, in my opinion, because when you're going to be ready to be finished and you're like, well, I need another bottle, and you go start looking, it's going to be there. At one point before that bottle's finished, you'll get another bottle. And that's one nice thing about Baker's. They keep it on the now. Baker's 13 should be hitting again. Hopefully, there's even a Baker's 15 or 7, whatever. I just look forward to the series because initially there was this, and then there was that, and this. So, you know, it's the evolution of it. I would say, once again, I'm going to do it straight up against each other. The single barrel, not the single barrel, the batch, caramely beautiful. All 107. Decent. And then the 13. All right. Let's barrel bash them. All right. Nose. Been in here a while. Caramel. A lot of caramel. A little bit of fresh apple. I don't get much wood or anything like that. So on the nose, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys barrel bashing rating system is up to, the way it works is there's 4 categories. 2 categories can be 5 and 2 categories are 4s for a total of 18. The 2 categories are taste, are body and nose aroma. Those 2 categories you can give up to a 4. And then taste and finish, you can give up to a 5. But if there's an exceptional category, you can give it a butt up for an extra point. So the most perfect, excellent bourbon ever can be a 19 of 18. So I will say the 7, the nose on it, I'm going to give a 3. And I will also I'm going to give the nose on the 7 a 3. And I'm going to give the nose on the 7 single barrel a 2. There is a different, more caramely nose.
I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, we got audio back. My microphones, for some reason, were dying on YouTube, but I got it. I should have it back. We're still here. That might mean why Jorg sold. He has a question. Let me know. Thank you, Cool to Know, for letting me know that the microphone died. I got the other backup. Once that died, I got into that one, and I don't know why they're dying. That shouldn't have happened. All right, let me quick get this saved like I always do. Everybody knows the drill. Have not lost one episode yet, and we are on, I believe, 390 something and 89th this year. So the new season's approaching next month, so that's kind of cool. We always open up the new season from the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. All right, file, publish to, loading. All right. Bakers. Hope everybody liked it tonight. Did you have a Baker's Walker to that would was just wondering if you had a Baker's. I got a couple of things. I can't believe I blended that one. It's kind of funny. Let's see what happens here. Oh, James Harden. Oh, he wants to be. If you reply, okay, what was the? I don't see what he reply. Howdy. There we go. I replied, but I don't know what I replied to. Awesome. So you said you had some bakers with you tonight. Were you sipping along? 7 and 13 had them with a cigar like you and Nash and I did in New Orleans. Oh, I'm almost. How long is it before your teeth heal up? I mean, I'm at 2 weeks. The holes are still there. It's your mouth is an amazing thing. What it does to replace 2 teeth that have been removed from the back of your mouth. But I don't know if I'm ready to start smoking cigars. Maybe I think I'll be waiting to smoke a cigar in a month at the festival, because we are like, today's August 1st. We're talking about we're talking about August 14th, 13th, 14th, and 15th for the festival, but we'll be down there on the 7th. I'm looking forward to it. This should be an absolute blast. All right. So, Walker, what did you like the best? 13, 7? Which one was it? The blend actually was, I don't know how it got sweeter. Should still have audio for the YouTube. Thanks everybody for YouTube lately. Love what's been happening. It's like every single episode now is between 500 and 1300. The Tuesday nights we got going because we had, there for a while. The Thursday nights where we were consistent, but we've been more consistent on the Tuesday night lately, and it's been really showing. Yeah, I would say the 13 was doing pretty good. I've got this 7 of the first. Let's see. But what I find, don't you find that the body of this Walker is probably better than most bourbons? I mean, it's a big bourbon. Yeah, it's like, let's get some really good cigars for the festival. That's what we should do. We should talk to Brad Bonds and stuff like that. Did you talk to Andy about booking a room at Old Homestead on that Saturday when we pick it up? Oh, that's all good. We're all good for that. I've got it saved. I'm going to take these off. All right, everybody. On YouTube, thank you for joining us. Once again, Baker's 13, fantastic. It pulled pretty much perfect score, 18 of 18. And then you got the Baker's original small batch, which went up against the 7-year single barrel that they put out, and they basically were identical. Nose wise, I think the Baker's 7 small batch had a little bit better nose, but other than that, everything else so fantastic. And then when you went to the 13, you got a complexity and a finish that was better than the other 2 bourbons, but all of them held their own. You're talking about a 15, a 16, and 18 out of 18 points rating system. So I did. Andy and I will room together. All right, so I will have to let I'm going to see who's going to come down with me. I think CT. I'm not sure if CT's going to. It's going to be tough because we got to pick up both the barrels and the rest of the stuff that nobody else picks up, and got to get it to its destinations. So all right, so that's great. I am going to end the Facebook. Thank you everybody on Facebook tonight. Greatly appreciated again for joining us. Next Tuesday will be what was that? I don't even know what that is. Next Tuesday, how you can support the Scotchy Bourbon Boys by Andrew Jeffrey Milo. Hello, you're invited to join the Bourbon Cabinet and Community. How did they come on and jump the Facebook? Yeah, I love it when the live gets jumped by spam. Look at that. How many? It's like 10 of them. All right, someone needs to block that guy. What's he doing? Spamming everybody? I'll just put block. Oh, really? Or how can I block him? Oh, not happening. Go back over here. Oh, there it is. Hide ban from stream. There we go. We ban him from stream. All right. So let's see. All right. So everybody, hopefully you can't do it anymore because I banned him from the stream. Delete. It's like always, how stupid are you to come in and just spam alive? He really spammed us, man. There we go. He's gone. Cheers, everybody. Good night. All right, we're off Facebook. I'm going to take us off YouTube. And thanks, everybody on YouTube, for watching. Here we go. Let's see what happened. Let's see. Sure. Yep.